Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Mind X Muscle podcast. I'm here with my wonderful co host, Nikki.
Hello.
Um, and today we also have Val.
Shine bright like a diamond.
She's an IFBB Figure Pro who made it to the Olympia stage, but her whole journey goes way beyond competing. After her final prep, she faced a lot of mental struggles, including a difficult time with her food. And we'll get a little bit more into this, but her binging. And her season ultimately drew her closer to God and opened the door to a brand new chapter centered on faith, healing, and redefining health beyond what bodybuilding is. She is also a personal trainer, a coach, and her own podcast host, where she leads powerful conversations on faith, identity, and freedom.
Yay. Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited.
Yay. And we also want to dive into now that you're creating a guide designed to support others in rebuilding trust with their bodies through spiritual grounding and faith-driven recovery, offering a path toward wholeness rather than pressure. So we really want to get into that.
Yeah,
Yay. So we're so excited to have you on. Thank you for joining us.
of course. No, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Awesome.
Have you ever been on another person's podcast before?
Yeah, a couple of times. Not often, but a couple of times.
Yeah. And you
It
started
feels
your own
weird.
podcast now too. And what's the title of your podcast called? Like, where can people check you out?
So the funny thing is, I I was supposed to do one with my friend, so about like faith, and it was just like so hard to like cohort at first. So we're going different journeys. So I was just like, okay, let me get something started. So I was like, I'll just post video on my YouTube. So I didn't really create a new podcast, but it's pretty much like I called it like Unwavering Faith, but I don't really like I haven't been like really been calling it like podcast. So I just really just post on my YouTube
Yeah.
because I guess like all my content is also on there. But yeah, it's like a beautiful like new journey for me on YouTube.
Yeah, because you were always pretty big on YouTube, always documenting your preps and the whole bodybuilding side of things too. Like, how long have you been doing YouTube for? Since you started bodybuilding or a bit after?
Yeah, I think like 2015 was my first time I posted because I literally made just a video of like my show when I went to the National in Toronto, I think. And I just like vlogged for myself. And then I put it as a video and I wanted to share it with my friend. And I didn't know how at the time because the video was too long. So I'm like, let me just put it on like my YouTube. Like I was just, I just had an account to watch videos. And then I was like, well, might as well just share on my Instagram if it's already there because I was always like really like active on Instagram. It's natural for me. I love to do it.
Yeah.
So like and then I saw so many people watching it. So like that's kind of like what got me into it. I was like, okay, maybe I should start to like vlog. But with YouTube, I've always been like on and off. Like it just I could never keep up with it. So there's a lot of like different things. Even I tried to like vlog this year when I was kind of like going through like a new journey and it was like, nope, not ready for that. So yeah, especially when you're in a bad place, it's like putting yourself out there when you're not doing well is also not the easiest, right?
Yeah. And you want to be yourself too.
Yeah. But then cry on camera all the time. Well, I wasn't crying, but like, it's like when you're used to like be so positive all the time with like bodybuilding and stuff, even though it would be like still honest when I wasn't doing well or when it was harder, like it was a lot of like just pushing through. You're like your spirit is so high that like
Mhm.
now going from that to like being felt like I was like negative all the time was like almost like weighing on me. So I was like, okay, let me just not.
Yeah. But it's so nice how authentic you were and how open you were of sharing that whole journey of like you took time to yourself, which was great and
Hmm.
obviously really needed, but just how authentic you were and how you were able to talk about it on there too. People probably really appreciated that.
Yeah, I do wish that people would feel more comfortable to be open or even like take time for themselves, I think there's both side of like pressure of like having to like post all the time and being consistent for like other people and not taking time off of like social media for themselves or like their sponsors or anything, right? But also the other side of like being able to share a little bit more and like so you can connect with other people. Because at the end of the day, that's what bring you closer to people and connected.
I think what you do a really good job too is like you've clearly set good boundaries with yourself. You know when you can be a little bit more vulnerable, but you also know when you need to kind of just keep things to yourself, and that's okay. I feel
Yeah.
for a long time, maybe you have been put into such like a big pressure on social media, whereas now you're kind of finding, today I want to post, and you're posting because you enjoy it, not because you have to.
Yeah, and also like I think I post now just to like hopefully I can help someone or just if I feel like it, but it's not like I don't really like look at likes anymore because if I would look at like likes and comments, I would not keep posting because I used to like if I come like people don't only compare themselves to like other people, they compare themselves to like oh like well I had like so many likes on that post. Like obviously I had more likes when I was bodybuilding and showing off my body, right? Which is like but that's not where I'm going. So I need to like not care about that aspect as well.
It's not.
Definitely. So we asked on our story to ask any questions that people may have for you, just along with your journey with
Okay.
bodybuilding and just kind of where it's leading to you now and in your life now, basically. So we'll start with one of the first questions. If bodybuilding has taught you one thing, what would it be?
I would say resilience. You know, I think like when I was going through a rough time, bodybuilding showed me how strong I can be and how much I can push myself and how like mentally strong I am as well. Like not only like my body, but like mentally. That like
Mhm.
I know that like I had that I had that like resilience in me. So like I knew I would get through it because of that. And also just yeah, I guess like also I'm very like dedicated. I knew that like bodybuilding taught me like how much I can be dedicated in anything. Also not just when I'm going through a rough time, but like whatever I want to pursue after that, I do have that in me. Either it's like another sport or like a career. It builds your resilience, like a lot of it.
That's very true. And it just looks different now in this part of your life. It's like, yeah, I can have this goal or show date in mind. I can prep for it and do all the things and get through the hard days. But that's for a show. But now it's other things in life. Like
Yeah.
these mental battles come up or other struggles in life. Well, I've done this before. I could do anything. I could do this.
Yeah. I was actually talking with a girl yesterday and she was like, "Oh, I have one of my clients who wants to do it for a show." And I still think it's like amazing people who like decide to do one show just for themselves, just to see how much they can push themselves. Because I think that like anyone should, it doesn't have to be bodybuilding, but anyone should do something in their life that they push their body in the physical way so much that it actually like build them and give them strength and show them how much they can be how strong they can be. And I think that's beautiful when you actually decide to do something for that, like that for you, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's another level of appreciation for those who want to do a show just to see what their body could do versus wanting this goal for long term. Because in that case, it's almost easier to want to give up or be like, oh, I guess I can't do this. Like, I'll just stop. But in order to like get through the whole journey of it and like be able to finish that one goal, even if it's just to see what your body could do, I think that's great. You can
Yeah.
learn a lot just from that.
Yeah, and then things that you learn in bodybuilding again, you can bring in like so many area of your life, right? Either it's like, all like prepare we are. Like that's like setting you for life if you like, stick to it. But, even me now, like I'm like it took me a time to like heal and stuff, but like now I'm back in a place where like I'm like, okay, I need to stop like going to work unprepared and having like a protein bar and a protein shake. This is not whole food. So it's like I'm like, okay, let me get like prepared again, like let me like meal prep without being strict but like still being prepared because I know where it's going to lead me ultimately.
Yeah, because you're so used to packing those 5, 6 meals a day and you're going to be gone all day. You got to be prepared. So that kind of actually leads us into one of the questions that someone gave here asking after bodybuilding, how did you structure your food and your meals once you retired from this stage? Like, did you follow a meal plan? Were you counting macros? Were you just eating intuitively or what did that look like?
That did not look like really well. That looked like this. It was like a lot of phases, and I think it's okay to go through like phases and learn what you like and what you don't like or what works for you. And I think the problem with people, it's like we don't give ourselves time to find that balance, and we want to like my mind went so many times so quick, being like. I should just go back on a strict plan, be strict, and like in 3 months I'll be back in shape. But I knew that wasn't my problem. My problem is to actually heal and be balanced. So at first, it was after the Olympia last year when I went to watch, I was pretty much like a year ago. I had like hives all over my body. Even just from that, I had to do like carnivore. And then after that, it was like Christmas, and I think it kind of like started like going I was still going to the gym and stuff, but then February I quit like the gym in Burlington. So it was like a big transition. Started to like, and then I decided to move like not long after that. So I was living with one of my clients. She was like a second mom to me. So like by that time, it was like almost like not that I gave up on myself, but I kind of like stopped going to the gym. I was just like very like in a weird place. I didn't have a gym that I enjoy. I'm a bit of a princess, but like Movati is not, it's not good. Like I can't do. So I would just like not train and then eat a bit whatever. And like me and her together, like we would like watch TV and like have a bag of mini eggs, like or she would make those muffins with like a bunch. So it's like it wasn't good. But then I went to like Italy, and then I just enjoyed myself there. And then when I came back is when I moved. So I kind of like did a reset there, but like I went through at first it was. I was like, I don't even know. I'm so sick of like, I think I was just exhausted from like everything. So I didn't want to count macros. I didn't want to weight my food. I didn't even buy like a food scale for like months. And I would just like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give myself one rule. And I think that was a good place to start for me was like, let me just focus on like whole food.
That was your
So
rule, focusing on.
yeah, yeah. So no like amount of meals or no, and again, everyone's different. Maybe like it's maybe not the right way to go, but for me that's what it worked at a time. So for at least like a good like month and a half, 2 months, it was like I can like slow down. I went for walks, I would like, but it was like not weighing my food, just whole food and just eat intuitively. And
I think
then
that's a really good place to start because I feel like if you throw
Mhm.
in too many factors at once, you'll just be like, whoa, what's going on? We got to start small.
Yeah, and I think it was PTSD of like, the like strictness and like that just didn't want to fall back into. And I was listening to a podcast and there's something they said that I really like. It was like, don't focus on like adding, focus on just eliminating. Sometimes we always add, like, you try to do more, right?
But you were already like changing so much that like think about it like this. You moved not like you stopped bodybuilding or at least
Mm-hmm.
break. You moved from a completely different city to a completely different environment. Like the environment in Burlington versus the environment here like in the northern area is
Different.
very different. Now you're challenging yourself trying to figure out like, okay, I'm not bodybuilding anymore. So in your head, you're thinking, how can I still keep fitness without bodybuilding? Because I'm not a bodybuilder. Even though you still enjoyed training that way, you're not a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
We're also trying to find different ways of training and now food. And
Yeah.
you probably still had a little bit of like challenges that weren't dealt with when you were competing. So everything's kind of coming out at once.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a lot you said there because it's like a lot of the things that I've struggled post bodybuilding is things that I've actually struggled during bodybuilding, but I've just never addressed it or cared about it. So like the food eating disorder wasn't new from like just when I quit last year. It was something that was happening already. I just because I was going back to prep, it didn't have to be dealt with in that sense. There was or like the strictness or like not being able to be present, all those things, but I just never dealt with it because like it just didn't have like its place at that time. But like, yeah, it was a lot of like, and it was like me trying to slow down. So even like not doing fasted cardio, going for walks. So, and even like at that time, I didn't even enjoy training anymore. Like I was barely like weight training. I was just trying to do anything else than that. So it was a lot of awe at the same time, but it allowed me to like slow down. But then after a few months in, like it was like in the summer, I started like playing golf and stuff. And I was talking to one of my friends. She was like, maybe it's time for you to like, I think there's a fine line of like you're healing, but then there's that fine line where like, okay, how long it's been that you're actually now using it as an excuse to like not push yourself or like not even push but like be accountable in a way. So it's like I think it's like also you can also just let your fear not allow you to like move forward in like your healing process. So like for me, I think I was at a point I was like, well, I'm healing, I need to be careful, I need to like slow down. And I also my hormones were like screwed. So my hairdresser, she's also like herbalist or something like that. So she did like an assessment on me and she was just like, your stress level is too much, you need to like chill. So that's why like I can like slow down. But then I got also stressed to now starting training again and like doing fasted cardio because I'm like, well, my arm, I need to like it's like no, like there's a place and time, but there's also a line where like, okay, you need to like start being accountable again, and like, either it's count macros or like, not just using healing as excuse to like not do anything or like push yourself back to a good place. So I think that time I started like counting macros again. I put my macros pretty high to like, well, pretty for me it was high, like 2000 to what I'm used to in bodybuilding, which is crazy. Thinking that 2000 calories a day is high for a girl. And I'm also like I have a lot of muscle, so it's not like I'm 100 pounds girl. But I was doing like 2,000 calories for a while, and it was doing great because I could still like choose my own food. And then I stopped for a while, and then now I'm like still like truly eating, but like I still have way more. I think like just counting macros for a while really like helped me, and I already have like knowledge of food, but like and like calories, but it helped me to know like what is a good amount of food, because when I don't count macros, I feel like I'm under eating, because in my head I think that like a bowl of like rice and lean ground beef is a lot of calories because of prep. So now I'm able to like eat intuitively and have like 4 or 5 meals a day, or sometimes, usually four, and like know I'm like in a good calorie place. But you need to have the knowledge of it too.
So right after you decided you didn't want to bodybuild anymore, did you like right away go into intuitive eating or did you
No, because I was still like I was still at the other gym, so I was still like, doing my meal. I don't know if I had a meal plan, or I probably did. Yeah, I think at first I still had a meal plan. And then but I would probably like just like, swap food here and there, which was fine. But I think like what really screwed me is like really like the hives on my body. I think I kind of like just slowly like gave up because I was like, oh my God. And then, Christmas and stuff. I'm pretty sure like through like beginning of the year was still like following a meal plan. I feel like it's so blurry now, but
you've
I
like
was.
your mind?
No, I'm like, yeah, I don't even want to remember. But I think like I followed like a meal plan, and just like, oh yeah, beginning of the year when I was starting like driving up here for the gym like a couple of times a week, I would still do kind of like mostly like carnivore, so it was like mostly like fatty meat. But then I had like my meals with like, pasta and stuff, and I was probably like snacking on the side. And then when I stopped training, it's probably when I started like, stop prepping my meal a little bit more, and like can like be a bit more like just whatever. I think when I went to Italy too, it didn't help, because when I came back, I'm like, I want to keep eating like I was in Italy. I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna get a croissant, I'm gonna go get a latte, and yeah, so that wasn't good either.
Do you think that like you were trying to save up time? Like you missed out on time when you were bodybuilding, so this was like your way of giving yourself that time back?
I don't think so, because I don't think I was like going out much, and like when I was going out, I would still like eat pretty like clean. But I don't. It's hard to like. I feel like, I mean, which is a great thing that I don't remember. That's mean that like I'm in a different place mentally. But yeah, I feel like it was a lot of different. I just think I was just sick of everything. Like, training, like being like training at my body was not motivating. So I tried to like start running again, but it was like hurting my Achilles, and then so I just also felt like so out of shape too. By February I was like starting. Oh, I had a rash in my face too, like really bad. So it's like my body was like, you know, telling me a lot, and I was like dealing. I voiced that to like, I'm not gonna like say any name, but I voiced out to one of my friend, and I was like crying. I was like, I'm actually not doing well. Like I'm struggling with like food, because I was feeling myself with like obviously like having my hives and like my rashes. It's like I was already like feeling really down, because when it's like a rash in your face, you're like, yeah, I could still train, but like you don't feel confident. I felt so down already, and like not training, like I was barely like working because I lost all my clients at the gym. So I was like, I think I was feeling myself like slipping away in the same place that I used to, every off season when I started like gaining weight and losing control on food. So like I voiced that, and I was like, I'm not doing well. Like I'm actually not. But I don't feel like people around me truly understood like fully like how bad it was. And I think a lot of people still don't understand how bad it was, for like just the past year. And that's fine, but yeah, it was really bad. Like some of my friend actually told me like I was getting really scared for you, because I've never seen you like that. And I was like, oh, I was that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you don't realize once you're in it, but do you feel like all these side effects happening and like their face breaking out, all these stress responses, did you kind of be like, oh, maybe is this something trying to tell me that this isn't good for me or something needs to change or like this is a resistance towards it? Like, what made you think, like, crap, something needs to change? Like, what was your first step in that?
Well, first I was happy that like I was already out of bodybuilding and like I stopped all PEDs because it was probably like definitely obviously my body like speaking to me, either with the hive or the rash, either it was from my system clearing out,
Just your
or
stress response in general, too. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, okay, like I knew like my health was like at its worst at like because I knew my 2023, I knew my hormones were like bad, and I even did like blood work, and they were like, oh, you have a kidney failure, and I was like, great, but like end up like being fine. But now like with all the rashes and stuff, I was like, okay, like I can't keep like I can definitely tell, and also like gaining weight like that is so unhealthy. Like we just see it in a way of like, oh, like I look bad, like I look fat. It's like, no, but also like your hormones, your health is so affected by it. Like being like inflamed all the time, it's so unhealthy.
No, I think a lot of people don't really understand this when, like, I say, like, I'm very structured when it comes to following my reverse plan, but in my head, like, sure, it's nice to, like, look and feel a certain way, but your organs, when they're covered around fat, and it can happen very quickly, it's not a slow process, your body
Yeah.
can shut down easily.
Yeah. And I hate like how we make it like seem normal to like binge like crazy. It's almost like we're proud of it because there was time that like she's like, what? Okay, obviously you don't you're on the other spectrum, but like
Confused, what do you mean by that? Like, people normalize that it's normal.
well, okay, in bodybuilding, like okay, so for like years, my parents have been around like of like me competing. And like obviously like after a show, like the amount of like food we eat like at the restaurant and like, we get ourselves like we eat to a point to be sick or like, we get like literally so excited about like a cookie, like we just won like $1 million. Like
Yeah,
this
I know
isn't
what you mean. And people always say that before they even step on stage. They're like, "Oh, I cannot wait to go eat this, this, this." And like you're almost like telling your brain this is happening. So then you're rewiring it like, okay, I can eat this much when really your body can't handle that much right after the show.
no, but we make it normal because we're like, oh, we're bodybuilding, we can handle like a lot, or like we almost like not feel proud,
Yeah.
but like I know like there's
Well,
time
I
I've like
deserve this. I deserve it. Yeah.
yeah, or even like I would talk with someone and be like, oh yeah, that's all I had after the show, and like it's like, why are you proud of that? Like this is not normal, but like we make it normal because that's just what it is, but it's not. It's actually not healthy. And my parents, like when I, recently they were like, yeah, like no, every time after a show we would like look at you guys being like, this is insane, like not judging, but yeah, kind of judging, being like, just the way we would act around food. It's just like you see that unhealthy, like, or in prep you're watching, I would watch like electric electric.
Oh my
He's
God.
like,
I I watch him
I
all
know
the
who that
time.
is,
It's great.
but like I would literally like dream to like eat the amount of food that he eats, and it's like, Val, like stop, like this is, I don't even know why I got there, but
That perpetuated you to right how do I say this? There's people who have experienced binges, and there's
yeah,
people who experience the complete opposite, but when you're
yeah,
feeling yourself, you're seeing things on social media, the pressure you get from friends and family,
mm,
where are we going out to eat? But what if in your head you're like, I don't want to go out to eat?
yeah,
A lot of people that choose to, stay back and kind of just like have a dinner, and that's totally normal. But now the pressure from everybody else surrounding you is, hey, you know what? I want to watch you eat. I haven't
yeah.
seen you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like you probably understand that more than anyone else, but like, when someone after a show tells you like, "Oh, I just want to like, a home steak, like home cooked steak with some potatoes. I just want my oatmeal." And you're almost like, "Are you crazy?" And you're almost in your head being like, "Oh, she's just trying to like show that like, oh, she just want her own food." I'm like, "No, I know you want cookies." Like, no, like you know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, I think I got there because like it's so unhealthy even for your body to like be like so inflamed all the time and like go through that. So I think it just got me to a point that I was like, okay, really need to like take care of my health and like slow down because I can't keep going like that.
Well, with that being said, I'm kind of curious to know, how did you someone actually asked this. There was a question. About oh, so someone asked a question about how you found balance between Jesus and food. Like, after your struggles, how did you find that balance between that, like, your faith and food? Because that is really challenging, right? Because
Yeah.
people will say it's 2 completely different spectrums of beliefs, but how
Hmm.
and I think you're still learning, but what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
like obviously I'm still working through like a lot of things, right? Like my eating disorder isn't like fully healed, but like it's like 100% better. Like there is still time that like I do want to binge a little bit, but if I do it, I'm not gonna feel any shame, which is crazy to me. Like I'll literally just wake up the next day and like it's a brand new day, which like it never happened to me before. Like how much we beat ourselves up. It's like, no, I'll eat a bag of chips if I want to. And also my binge are gonna be like either like whole food or they'll be like if it's like actually like junk food, it'll be like so much smaller. Like what would be like, probably 10,000 calories before, now would be maybe a bag of chips and a bag of chocolate. And I want to get to a place where I do want to be able to open a bag of something and not finish it. Like I actually have things in my house, but it's fine. But like I think it can be weird for people to understand, like, okay, how did your relationship with God he or like, helped you with binge eating or anything else? I know it's kind of like a weird thing to understand when you don't have a relationship with God or you don't read the Bible. But the thing with having a relationship with God, it's actually not about you doing things on your own strength. It's actually asking God to help you through that. The thing with like God, he's like he's alive. Jesus is alive and he's actually living in you. So like the Holy Spirit, like God lives in you. So he's giving you the power. So if you have communication and relationship with him, he's gonna strengthen you. He's gonna, give you the power of those things if you actually like pray for it and like actually seek him first. So for me, like it was like refocusing on my relationship with God helped me to like the good thing with God is like it doesn't it renews your mind. So the way you might like think about food, the more you pray and the more you spend time with him, he's actually gonna renew your mind. The more you read the Bible, the more you're gonna change. He's gonna change also the desire of your heart of like, okay, no, I don't want to do that because I want to do what's good, for like ultimately you do want to do what's good, like what the Bible tells you to do because it's going to lead you to the promise of like what God has for your life. So if I do want to live a life that God promised me, which is like way greater than what we try to like, do for our life. It's like I thought like bodybuilding was the best thing in my life, and that's, all I could reach. But it's like God has something so much better. But in order to do that, I do have to like follow the path that He has for my life and like the Bible. Because if not, I'm gonna lead myself into bad places, like binging. Like now I'm like not confident. I'm not healthy. Or like I'm just focused on like my body instead of actually being there for people. So it kind of goes like so many places, but like the main thing with food is really like just renewing my mind. I understand that like I don't have to fight those battles. I The biggest thing for me was like the Bible tells us to like flee from temptation. So don't try to fight it. How many times we try to like, oh no, I feel like I'm strong enough. I'll buy peanut butter and I'll like just like wait it. And then you end up eating the whole jar. It's like, no, just flee from that. Like, don't buy the peanut butter. Don't go out with your friend if you're actually feeling stressed around food. Or if you want to spend time with your friend, then do it, go do like an activity like a sport. Like it doesn't have to be around food. So that teach me that. But like I thought like like I thought me getting close to God would be like, oh, God is gonna heal me, he's gonna bring me back in shape so I can, feel good again. And instead it was like, no, 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 that's not how it works. I'm gonna renew your mind, so you're gonna start loving yourself the way you are. You're gonna start changing like your desire is gonna start changing. So I'm gonna convict you, like even for me training in the gym, like again, conviction are different to everyone, but like I don't think I could ever train in like booty short and like a sport bra again because myself, I don't feel comfortable. I feel convicted. But that also allowed me to like not care so much being lean all the time because I don't have to show my body. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing was like, yeah, God would just renew my mind in a different way than I thought He would. It wasn't about going like healing me and like getting me back in shape so I can be happy and like, be confident. It's like, no, I'm going to renew in your mind so you know that you're loved, you're worthy, no matter how you look and no matter how you are. So right now I'm able to love myself in a body fat that like ever I would have loved myself before, So yeah, so it correlates with like everything, with like food as well, like it is really complex. So it is a little bit hard to like explain. But the best way I can say is like just renew your mind on everything and change the desire of your heart. So ultimately, it's like not you trying on your own strength to like not sin or not binge. It's like no, he's gonna work in you. And then you'll wake up one day and like you'll be like that happened to me. I think when I moved, I was like, okay, let me focus on whole food. And then I would just spend a lot of like I wasn't working much at when I moved here. So I spent a lot of time in my Bible and like praying and stuff. And then a month passed by and I was like, wait, I have not even thought of like cheat meals. I've not even thought of like, oh, it's a weekend. I need to go get a cheat meal. Like, that like weekly cheat meal. I was like, wow, like how did that happen? So I knew it was God working through me, not me trying to be like, no, don't go for a cheat meal, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Because that restrictiveness of, oh, don't go for a cheat meal, don't go for a cheat meal, that would rewire your brain to want it more almost. But if you're fulfilling yourself in those other ways and healing the way you were, you start noticing like
Yeah.
you don't have these urges or desires anymore. And you're like, oh, okay, I can actually relax. And now stress is going down and your body's responding better than it ever has before.
Yeah. And even just like the freedom of food, right? So it's like I think I also didn't feel like I needed one because I was eating more diverse and like if I wanted to like cook myself a steak with like, whatever it was, I did have that freedom as
Yeah.
well.
I also wanted to mention something. I hope it's okay that I share this, but I remember you mentioned to me how like your binges have gotten much better to the point where you didn't eat the whole bag of bread. And I remember you told me you were like you still felt guilty for like binging on,
Mm,
but then you said it out loud and I don't think you even realized it. You said, but I didn't eat the whole bag and I would have ate the whole bag. So I think what a lot of people, and I hope that this helps one person, and I think like you sharing your story and your experience is helping a lot of people more than you know, but it's not
hmm.
about like flipping a switch. Your faith with God did not just, okay, one day you woke up and now I'm like God has saved me. Like that's not how
Yeah.
it works. For you, it was more so a learning curve, and that's you reading the Bible is like you learning who you are as a person now without bodybuilding, who you
Yeah.
are now that, you're in a new environment, how your previous self is becoming your future self. It's like that
Hmm.
growth.
Yeah, and like it's true though, like, there are some cases that like God is gonna like do miracles and deliver you like overnight, and that's beautiful, but like it's often not how it happens like for people, right? It's like it's over time. It's like I didn't like pray and woke up the next day and like never crave any food again and like, be perfect. But it's that like growth that like where it's working through you, but like you also need to like have faith that he's still working and he's still, there every day with you. Yeah, it was like even since like I moved in May, like how many time I fell and like, I fucked up and like I was like and then you feel bad because you're like, well, I'm supposed to be like obedient and like not fall into sin, especially when you're aware. Like the Bible tells us, if you're aware and you keep sinning, it doesn't make it's not a good thing because ultimately you're aware. I think there's a lot of grace given, and it's normal that you're gonna keep falling, but then it's like look at the low, like just win, I guess. And that's the thing with especially coming from bodybuilding that like everything is so perfect. It's like you can try to like reach perfection. You just need to try to like be better every day. And not even every day. Like, you just need to like start, okay, like low win, like, okay, I didn't like feel bad about not doing fasted cardio. I didn't feel bad because I had a free meal and it was a rest day. Yeah, maybe I binged, but I woke up the next day and I didn't really care about it. So those are still wins, even though like maybe you still fell. And so many time I binge or like so many time was like, it's like again, I'm still working through like my faith and like trying to like put God first, but like how many time I like I would like read my Bible in the morning and then I'd go on with my day and then, obviously I know I should go back home and like either like read my Bible or like and then I would go grab snack and like watch Love Island, knowing that like I probably shouldn't be doing that, but that's okay too.
Yeah, and
So
that's progress in itself too, like finding those small wins versus, if you've fallen back into a pattern that you're used to, waking up the next day and not feeling so bad or needing to forgive yourself or needing to go do fasted cardio or restrict for the day because you did that and kind of like punish yourself because that could also put you back in those same patterns. So just waking up, moving on, finding those little wins from the day prior and making that kind of bring you throughout the day.
yeah, the more you're able to like just like quickly move on, the more you're able to like, get back up. And like that's one thing I would also like notice is like when I would fall down, it's like how much quicker I would get back up. And that was like a big thing because I was like, okay, like, I'm not, if I binge or like whatever happens, I'm not there like for like 3 days being in a bad cycle. And that's a huge, huge progress.
Fueling shouldn't feel like a second job, especially when you're deep in prep, reverse, or just balancing real life. Prep Shop Toronto provides daily ready-made meals and bulk protein options that keep you consistent without spending hours cooking or tracking your meals. When nutrition is handled, your energy is steadier, recovery feels smoother, and your mind isn't stuck in food with math all day. That means less decision making, better training focus, and more mental space to actually live your life outside of the gym. Head to Prep Shop Toronto or email hello@prepshop.ca and use code Eleanor at checkout.
Yeah.
Do you still feel any pressure to compete in the future?
No.
No. And when people ask me, like, I still get, I guess, like, people like know a lot with like my Instagram. Obviously, like, my life can like turn around a lot. But when people still ask me, I don't feel pressure because I know like everything that I've been through and like, I'm still healing technically on the smaller scale, but like everything I've done this year to like heal and get to a good place, it's like for me it's not worth it to put myself back in a place that could potentially bring me back fully. Like going back to like, I don't know, do a prep and then I'm like maybe having like a hard time with food again or like with body image because even now like I'm starting to like my body's starting to change. I'm actually like starting to like lose weight and look better and like feel better. And then that's the thing that I need to pray constantly. It's like making sure that like if not if I know I'll get back in a really good shape, that's just how I am and like that's the lifestyle I want. But there is a bit of fear of like me getting back to a place where like I glorify my body and I love myself just at that phase. So I need to be very conscious of that. And it's like I think it's great. Like I think we need to love ourselves, and like I think it's okay to like want to be in good shape and like love your body and when you're healthy and like you're in shape, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me it's just like that line of like I just don't want to get back to a place that like I glorify myself again. And I think that's the only body I'm like worthy of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so like you're saying only glorifying the body that's like lean and shredded, where
Yeah.
now I don't even want to use the word glorifying, but now you're starting to learn.
Yeah. I'm loving and accepting my body. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good.
What do you think?
Oh,
Nikki?
this question is really good. Back to the early bodybuilding days, I guess. When you won your pro card, someone asked, "Do you
Hmm.
ever feel the imposter syndrome effect when you won?"
Undaunted Attire is a one-of-a-kind athletic wear made for comfort, movement, and confidence. Gear that stays secure, feels good, and lets you focus on your training, not your clothing.
Designed for the people who show up, stay consistent, and keep moving forward. Undaunted Attire for the fearless. Use code Nikki or Eleanor at checkout.
Won your
Oh,
pro card, and
all the time.
how did you navigate that?
All the time. Pro card. I feel like pro card not as much because I I feel like the journey I had, it was kind of like my time. I did like three national beforehand, and then I got like first, and I would like lose like second overall. I think it was like the perfect timing for me to like win my pro card, so I didn't feel like imposter syndrome at the time. But the next year when I won like Vancouver, like that was my third year as a pro, but like my first year as a first real year a year as a pro. Yeah, I just I was like, I would find all the, not the excuse, but I would not be like, oh yeah, like I was proud, but at the same time was like, well, it was a small show. There wasn't that many girls. Like there was no girl from the US. It was a Canadian show. So like a part of it was like, I don't feel like I've deserved to win. And then when I went to Olympia, I was like, oh gosh, I was like very happy to be there, but I didn't feel like I was deserved to be there in a way. Like I was just like, and then that's why like the next year I really like I didn't end up competing, but like for me it was almost like I want to prove that I actually was supposed to be there, that I didn't just get there from like luck. But I guess like the only way to work through it is to like just remind yourself of the work that you've done, that you deserve to be there as much as anyone else. At the end of the day, you've done the work, you were on stage, you brought your best, and the judges decided that. So who are you to say like, well, I don't deserve to be there, I don't deserve that pro card? You can let people talk all they want, but at the end of the day, the judge decided that, you've worked for it. So it's like people love to like take away the credit, depending on like situation. But like there's situation where sometimes someone win a pro card and they get like backlash, like, oh, you shouldn't have won. It's like, who are you guys to say that? You know? So just kind of like try to like not take the others people opinion if you have like any negative. I've been lucky, I've never had that. And just in the moment, like for me when, I never had anything negative, but when I went to Olympia, I was just like, well, I just need to be blessed because there's so many people who would love to be in my place.
Yeah.
That's
And that's a pretty cool experience in itself, just be able to step on the Olympia stage. Like, how did you feel even walking off the stage when you were done? Like, what did that feel like?
Well, that felt like I just did like the prejudging, but it was like a mess. Like literally, I ran to backstage and I was like looking for bands. They were like glazing me. The girls were on, like it was a shit show. And then like went on stage and I tripped in the tape. So so like the guy saved me from that. So like so the prejudging stage, I think the final stage as well, but I didn't go. But like it's carpet. So like the line are actually like Velcro. So I actually have a video on my Instagram. I ended up posting it because I thought it was funny. Like after a couple of weeks, I was like okay with it. I like posted it, and like the guy, that's always on the stage, like making sure everyone's fine. He always has like an afro. He ended up like commenting on my video. I was like, oh my god, you saved my life. But I did my first post, and then I was walking, and then the Velcro stayed on my heel. So it looked like I have like toilet paper stuck on my heel, and I played it off, but. So it was a bit of a shit show, but like yeah, it was still like amazing. Like the best part was like when I was waiting on the side to like do my routine, I looked on the side and like the expo is like pretty big. So there's a lot of people. It's hard to like find anyone. And like literally I looked on my left and there was like my parents just on the side there. So I kind of like got to like say hi to them right before like getting on stage to do my routines. Yeah, that was pretty cool, but just yeah, it goes so quick, but it was like a really nice experience. It's just
But you held it together. You did it.
yeah.
Do you think, I know you don't really go to a lot of the shows nowadays, but you still are kind of in the bodybuilding space in some way or another, right? You have clients that are like posing clients. I know sometimes
hmm
like coaching clients. Do you want to completely like void that part? Or is that something that you think you're still passionate about?
I don't think I'm like passionate just because I don't dislike it. That's one thing that I'm happy. It's like I don't feel like I resent the sport because at the end it brought me a lot, and then like I've always had like so much like support, and still now like people support me, and it's actually like crazy to think. And like obviously like experience like people I've met. So like, but I think I'm just such in a different place now that like I just and like again like I think my relationship with God, it did change my heart a lot about it. That like it was weird at first because I never thought I would feel that way about bodybuilding. I thought I would love it, be like so like passionate about it for like the rest of my life. So to feel kind of like a bit like indifferent about it and just not care that much, it kind of like feels weird. And like for a period of time, I just felt like I didn't have my place in like the bodybuilding world or even the fitness world for a while, especially when I was in a very dark place and I was like, gained a lot of weight and like not on social media. I was like, I don't belong there anymore. But then, right now, I like now obviously I do feel like I have a purpose in the fitness industry, which is maybe like in a different way though, because there's a lot of like brokenness in like fitness industry or bodybuilding that maybe that's what God is calling me to. And like I'm always gonna love training. I'm always gonna be like, doing any kind of like sports or like in the fitness space in kind of way. So yeah, it's just weird because I still don't have a clear idea of like where I'm going, but I feel like a part of me still feel like maybe there's a reason why. Obviously, there's a reason why God put me, you know, in bodybuilding, and I also like got me to like build a platform the way I did. So it's just hard to navigate a little bit.
Yeah. Just a different purpose for you now.
Yeah. So, I do have like, lots of people from the fitness space or like bodybuilding that reach out to me. Either it's like, from me sharing my story or like from like my relationship with God. So I'm like, obviously I am able to like reach different people than like, for example, like my pastor that doesn't know the fitness industry. So yeah, I'm sure I'm always gonna be kind of like around, but maybe in like different ways.
And maybe
Yeah.
even you sharing your story, you sharing your path, what you did in bodybuilding, what you didn't do, it's gonna help people. And I know it does because I know that people reach out to
Mm-hmm.
me all the time and people
Mm-hmm.
thank you. And even while you were competing and you were open about your bodybuilding journey, your experience with
Yeah.
binging, people would reach out to you because you are authentic and you are honest about your experience, which is something that a lot of people can't say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Social media is huge. Like it's more of a highlight reel, and people only share what they want you to see. They don't really share what goes on behind the scenes or everything that you've been through. So even just your journey that you've been sharing through YouTube, people really appreciate that. Like as Eleanor said.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is like I think that's the biggest thing for me is like I truly just want to help people. And like it's always been I think like with at the beginning with bodybuilding, I did wanted to like inspire people. And I got to a place at the end that I didn't feel like I was, helping anyone or making a difference. And I think that's what also grew me a little bit like, away from bodybuilding because it almost felt a bit like purposeless. And I
Hmm.
was like, I feel like I feel like me just like continually like sharing the same workouts and stuff is not helping anyone in a way. Like I just always felt like I have something bigger to give and like something that's more like meaningful. So now to be able to do that in like a different way, it is really nice.
I like how you said that because I sometimes can get super in my head of like, who wants to see another shoulder workout? Who wants to see another kickback? Or why don't we use social media to relay information that people need to hear?
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that people need to hear. People need to hear that you, a professional bodybuilder who's been on an Olympia stage, have struggled, but you have taken steps to get past it and you're still taking steps. And I think
Yeah.
you continue to share each phase of your journey where you're helping so many people with that.
Yeah. Well, there's two things. Like, one is like sometimes it's hard when you're like going through it to know really what to share. Like, even right now, it's like I feel like there's probably a lot of things that I do on a daily basis, or like how can like what's my days look like now, or like kind of like my food or whatever, right? But it's like sometimes like because when you're living it, you don't feel like it's really like meaningful in a way. Like, like I don't know how to explain that. I feel like the thing that seems like normal to me or just like me like simple can be like very helpful for someone. Does that make sense? I don't really know how to explain that, but like, I think like sometimes we feel like we need to have that like big like testimony just to share. Like I'll share, I'll be really vulnerable, but like when I share from like when it was really like dark and stuff to like now, but sometimes it can be as good to just share like okay, what it looks for me right now to like still be in the process of healing. So I feel like I need to do a better job to like show a little bit more of like right now, what am I doing, But coming back to where you was saying with like sharing your workouts and stuff, it's like, yeah, you want to post more meaningful thing, but when you do, you don't get as much like, you don't get as many people that really cares, but then you share a workout and you have so many people who saved it and like it. So now you're like, okay, I do want to share things that are meaningful and like inform people, but like nobody really reads and nobody really cares because that's what's happened. It's like people go through it, right? So it's like it is hard to like, as much as you're like you don't want to look at the likes and stuff, it does play with your head when like you don't get the same engagement on things that you feel like it's so meaningful or helpful.
Yeah. I think it's a lot more
So
empowering and inspiring when you have there's more people that might like one of the, seeing a kickback video versus the amount of people that might appreciate you talking about the struggles and the small wins. But I feel like the less people supporting these small wins and, sharing your journey and being vulnerable, people that appreciate that, that's much more inspiring and would bring probably you a lot more, I guess, just happiness knowing that you're helping this small amount of people versus like a bigger amount of people, just depending on what you're talking about,
oh yeah,
if
like
that
if
makes
you
sense.
if
Yeah.
you ask me like someone to reach out to me and like tell me like out of nowhere like what they've been going through or like their testimony or like how much like how I've helped them
Mhm.
or whatever it is compared to
That's
like
way bigger than like all these other likes you got from the workout video. Yeah,
or
that's much
even
more meaningful.
compared to like me going to Olympia or like any like medals, that literally doesn't even equal like I would rather help people and serve people and like than just being on the Olympia stage and people praising me for it. But I had to like go through that to like real even back then like I would still have people reach out to me. That always meant a lot to me. But yeah, now it's like I couldn't care less to like have any medals or be on the stage. I really just want to empower people and help people. And when people ask me about Jesus, it's like that's the best thing of my life. I'm like, okay, let me send you a voice note.
Yeah. Let's sit
I know,
down. Let's chat.
I
No,
know
literally.
we have conversations sometimes and I ask you a question and next thing I'm like, it's been like an hour and you could just tell you're passionate about it and this is something that you love.
Yeah.
So I would say personally, keep posting because even if it reaches one person, that
Hmm.
one day could reach another million.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something I always said. Like, I don't care, you know, how many likes do I get or how many people do I reach, but if I can help one person, that's enough for me. Which I think like everyone should think like that with social media. I think we get so overwhelmed with like, oh, is it going to be good enough? What photo should be first? It's like, who cares? Just post, just post. Like, no, but we're all like
Yeah.
that though,
And then there's
or
also
like,
that pressure too, like even when you're in the bodybuilding space, you almost feel a pressure to have to post all these things. Like I feel like I struggle with that myself because
mm,
I'm not someone who I'll post some things here and there, like a little check-in, a workout here, like, an update, but I'm not posting every single day, every single meal, every single workout, and I'm not posting every day. Maybe like 3 times
yeah.
a month I'll post. But I'm okay with that. Like I'm good with that because I feel fulfilled in other ways.
Yeah. Well, I think it's beautiful because I also lost myself in that sense. Like I think being present is like one of the things I've struggled the most with because I would always be glued to my phone and always think, always being in my head like, oh, do I look fat? Do I look good enough? Like let's say you're at a restaurant, you're like, oh, like, I feel like my belly is like whatever it is, right? But like, and then it's like you go to the restaurant and like you love your outfit and like girls can relate a lot to that. But then you're like in your head the whole time because you want to make sure you get a cute pic. If
Yeah.
not, it's like your night is ruined. Or like when the food comes, it's like you want to make sure that you take photo of all the food and like every meals and like my whole life was revolving like around like making sure I'm like taking photo for like my stories or my post. And it's like next thing you know, I was not in the present ever.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing once you get past that and be able to just enjoy the company, enjoy who you're with, and just enjoy your time there without overthinking and being so stressed out about what you need to post because you're there for you and your company, right? Not everyone online.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can reason with that too because like when I post things that everybody else posts, because this is like in my head, I'm thinking this is what people want to see.
Hmm.
This is when I post about my journey and my story. I will have girls that I didn't even know that like girls from high school that I haven't talked to in years reach out and say, "Hey, you know what? Like I struggle with this. So thank you for like making it normal." Because no one
Yeah.
talks about this stuff. So that
But
imposter syndrome always comes back, but it it also guides you to want to share more. And Nikki's great with like being present, not posting everything. And I think
Hmm.
in my first prep ever, I would literally post like word for word, like my coach's meal plan on my stories. Whereas now I'll post here, I'll post there, but
Yeah.
post content that's I feel educational and I
Yeah.
have a reason for it. Like I'm trying to help someone.
Exactly. And the more you like you post, the more now like it's like we should never feel the obviously if you're like, on a social media platform, you do need to be not accountable, but you do need to be active. But you also make your own rules of like what active looks like for you. If it's like two story a day, fine. If you like to do more, 10, fine. If it's posting one every 3 days, but like we get to a place where like we feel pressure because we have like this amount of followers that like, oh, like we owe them something. And then the more you post and the more you allow that, the more they feel like entitled to like knowing everything about your life. And it's like, no, no, no. Like have privacy. But also like you said, not posting like what everyone else posts and actually like be different, be yourself. That's what people love. And then you'll like be different and then you'll see people start posting the same way as you. So like it's like why are we even like, caring about that? Like we should love to be yourself and post whatever we want to. Instagram has become or like social it's become so like controlling us and like who we should be because we want to be liked, we want to be, it's crazy.
Yes. And we don't want to lose sight of ourselves either. And we want to provide a purpose, but not get lost in that either.
Yeah, and again, it's a fine line. So it's just the more you're aware, the better you can navigate that.
100%.
Yeah.
But
Amazing.
sometimes you need to get lost to figure it out, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
That's how we learn. That's how we grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
All right. I think we covered all of the questions, which is amazing.
Thanks, Val, for coming on
Sweet.
the podcast.
Yes,
Of
you were our
course.
first guest.
Yay. I feel so, what's the word? I don't even know.
Blessed. Do you feel blessed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that was great. I hope that like, anyone who's like watching can take something away from it. And also like if anyone's watching like struggling or anything, like my DMs are open because I love replying to people.
That's awesome. And yeah, you're very inspiring and just welcoming that open door to people to come talk about the struggles or even just people getting into bodybuilding, not even knowing what they're signing up for. Right.
Yeah.
You're an open door. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah. And I think it's not to like scare anyone who wants to get into it, but just I think we need to be aware because it is possibility. Not everyone who gonna compete or gonna go through what I've been through, but it is, just being aware of like the other side of it that people don't talk about.
100%.
Where can people find you? What's your Instagram handle?
Valerie Ratelle with 2 E. Yeah, and then YouTube is just Valerie Ratelle.
Perfect. We will link that
Yeah.
in the description as well, where they can
Yes.
find you.
Sweet. Oh, thanks guys so much.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Val.
You're welcome. Well, I'll see you guys later probably.
Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.